tutorial number 2, trusses. Let us look at problem number 1. The question is, given a particular truss, I want to find out if it is completely constrained, or in other words, is it something that is a structure where there are possible movements or there is no movement possible. Okay, that is the first question, is it completely constrained. The second question is, can I use equations of equilibrium alone in order to solve for the member forces and reactions. That is the set of questions. So, a few ideas so that it is possible to identify these two pertaining to a particular truss. Okay. One thing that is to be understood clearly is, if I take 3 members, you can try this at home and pin them together like this. Let us say each one of them is rigid. This assembly is also a rigid assembly. It is not possible to change its shape, unlike having only 2 of them. It is possible for me to open it and close it, right. So, whenever I have something like this, I can hash it and say this is a rigid body. Okay. This helps me understand that this assembly is a rigid assembly. Okay. So, in this particular case of truss, if you notice 1, 3 and 2 put together forms such an assembly, is it not? Now, remember this entire thing is one rigid body and it is pinned to 2 other rigid bodies, rigid body 5 and rigid body 9, right. So, I can take this as one rigid body, another rigid body, another rigid body, 3 are pinned together like this as a triangle, and therefore, automatically this also joins this group to be a rigid body. Mind you, now this entire thing is a rigid body. Okay. And to this rigid body again there are one rigid body and another rigid body connected as a triangle, right. Whether I have a line as a rigid body or complete this entire thing to be a rigid body, it does not matter as long as it forms a triangle, right, and therefore, I will add this also. Likewise, if I continue, I see that I can make this rigid body grow over and over till it completely fills up the entire part, which automatically means this truss system, which consists of 8 joints and whatever 13 number of members, is a rigid body. If a rigid body is constrained using 3 constraints, a pin here and a roller here, I know that there are 3 constraints imposed, 2 motion horizontal and vertical here, 1 vertical motion here, which means that this is completely constrained from movement. Okay. We already saw how a rigid body can be arrested completely, pinned to the ground completely, so that there is no motion. Okay. And therefore, the number of degrees of freedom for this system is equal to 0. Okay. Supposing I remove this, then mind you, it is possible for this entire rigid body to rotate, which means it has one single degree of freedom system. If I need to arrest that, I will introduce this and it arrests even that single degree of freedom, or in other words, this is a body with no motion, which means it is completely constrained. Okay. So, the first question that is asked, we are able to answer appropriately. The second question concerns using equilibrium equations. Okay. How do I go about using equilibrium equations in order to solve for this truss system? When I say solve for this truss system, what I mean is being able to find out the reactions at this support, reactions at this support, also forces in each one of these members shown. For example, here there are 13 members shown and there are 8 joints. Of course, there are 3 support reactions, right. I can call these as 3 support constraints. Now the question is it possible for me? Let us explore. Supposing I generate free bodies, like we have done in problem 2 and problem 5, it is possible for me to generate free bodies around the joints, which is nothing but the method of joints which we used earlier. We can get 2 equations. For example, if I take this joint 2 and draw the free body, this is joint 2, I am exposing the member forces here. Okay, this is member force of 5, this is member force 8, this is member force 7, right. How many equations can I use in order to relate these? That is the question we have to ask. Well, I can use sigma fx equals 0 for this particular point, sigma fy equal to 0, which means it is possible for me to generate 2 equations. Ideally, if there are 2 unknowns, it is possible for me to completely find out those 2 unknowns, as long as these 2 are not redundant equations, correct. And therefore, every joint here seems to offer 2 equations from equilibrium, correct. Why am I interested in this? Remember, what I want to find out are the member forces, which means I necessarily have to section the members in order to be able to find out the member forces, okay. Therefore, in this particular case I have already numbered them, there are 8 joints, which means I can generate 8 times 2, 16 equations, can I not? Apart from this, it is possible for me to remove these and write the equilibrium for this particular rigid body. Unlike the joints which are like particle members, this is a rigid body, which means I can generate 3 equations. So, rigid body of the truss, remember the rigid body of the truss automatically does not involve any of the member forces, because they are all internal to the truss, okay. So, when I cut here and take the free body, I will be able to generate 3 equations, okay. So, in total it is possible for me to write down 19 equations. So far so good. This is the general mistake people do. Why? If I look at this particular joint, I would have used this joint in order to cut off the support and introduce these reactions. For example, let us call this as A and this as B, this is C, okay. I am sorry, there are 2, 1 and 1, there are 4 support constraints here. There are 4 support constraints. I am sorry, I forgot about this one. Supposing this were not there, then it would have been completely constrained, okay. If I introduce this, it is overly constrained. In addition to completely constraining it, I am also inserting one more constraint to it, okay.